with Dave Harris.
Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind. One-on-one.
Retro Rewind.
So was there wasn't, I guess I'm taking it, a lot of pressure then to do this album. You were just kind of doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we and I think personally I like to get up and go, and I think that's, even though I'm very proud of my music, my solo records and CDs, I think that I like to move it. And it's like, hey, this album's going to be finished here and that's it. There's some people that'll take years and years and years, So, but there's different energy, you know what I mean? Jordan's got a very laid back energy. And Donnie's got a certain, he likes to keep everything balanced. And that's one of the great things about being in a group, is that you can learn from the other members, you know what I mean? And just kind of go with the flow. So as much as we were taking it one song at a time, I mean, I look back and I go, what is this all about? I mean, you knew you were on the right track, and it was exciting to not know. I mean, we didn't know if it was going to be 5 songs packaged with some old stuff, or we didn't know what. And then, to think with less than a year later, we had, more than 20 songs, it was pretty cool.
So this is a lot different than the days of for a cliche, the heyday, when you guys were recording step by step in like hotel rooms and things like that, right?
Right. I mean, that was really on the run, and maybe I got that my work ethic from Maurice Starr, who just banged it out. I mean, he's a very talented guy, and he could bang out a few songs, but
he would like sing lyrics to you, and you'd sing it back, learning, singing the song.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't know the song. Yeah, that's true. We didn't know these songs. That especially Step by Step was at the height of our success while we were recording that. So yeah, and not a different kind of creative process. Yeah. Maybe not the best, but a different kind.
Oh, those are good answers, man. What's really going on inside here right now? Yeah. Well, this album is just in a lot of ways, Joe. I want to say, and I'm gonna probably get hung for this, but it's a departure. I mean, you guys have always had like some R&B influence in that sound, but this is, hearing this record for the first time, it seemed like a little bit of a departure, but you guys were able to, for lack of better words, pull it off. I mean, and here's where we talk about some of the collaborators on this CD.
Yeah.
I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, this is the music that we listen to as a group. I mean, we all have different tastes, I certainly have a wide scope of like the music I do and the music I listen to, but as a group, I don't know, for some reason I think of back when we were 15, 16, 17, and even before we got a break and we're out on the road. I mean, we'd go to clubs or we'd hang out and we'd go to dances and stuff like that, and we'd listen to urban music just like every other kid, you know what I mean? So I don't see, it made sense that when we got back together and made a record, it was going to be the kind of music we want to listen to. Whereas, yeah, back in the day, Maurice Starr, was the driving force behind, those big hits. And it was fun, and that was part of the equation. It was great. Sometimes we didn't always agree because it was a little too maybe sugary or poppy or whatever. But now, we got to write and make music that reflected the stuff that was in our cars and the stuff that got us excited. And I think if it's true to who you are, you're gonna pull it off, like you said. I mean, I think that's sort of the overall feeling with this record, is that it's honest, and they did pull it off. And I think that's what everybody sort of holds their breath with sometimes with groups like us, pop groups, boy bands, whatever you want to call it, people that have, done something and now are trying to come back and maybe reinvent themselves or recreate themselves, which is always like a slippery slope. And I don't think we did that. I just think we did music that was comfortable with us, but was part of the times and mature and contemporary, and so we didn't think of that. You know what I mean? We weren't walking on eggshells at all. You know what I mean? So we were just making music that we loved. So I think it all mirrors each other. You know, when you go into the studio and you're doing something that feels right, people are gonna pick that up. You know what I mean? And
kind of infectious.
yeah, and people are gonna feel that the truth of whether it's real or whether it's not. And we didn't do anything that we didn't feel right about. So and the people, the foundation when we started this record was just us. There weren't any collaborators. There weren't any people that came in. I mean, I know we have some great guest stars on this record, and it wasn't like we made a bunch of calls and said, come on in. It was a thing where we had music. We had 5, 6, 7 songs that we worked on that we had, and then people were listening and hearing it and then started getting involved. I think one of of course, it started with Nasri Artois and Adam Messenger, who were a writing and producing team who did Click, 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 and a bunch of other songs in Summertime. And that was the first direction. They were sort of, coming up the ladder, but, we sort of discovered this song and through our lawyer, and very serendipitous, and, and I sort of started music with that. And then we met Red One, and I think Red One's spirit, he was just very enthusiastic, was a big fan of the group back in the day, and loved where we were coming from, and is just a very open, honest, guy who likes to make music and has a good spirit. And I think it was great to meet someone up at that point, and was willing to just say, hey, let's write some music. I mean, in this business, I think part of it, because it's so tough, is that producers have to, I guess sometimes they feel they have to use their time wisely, and they don't want to waste their time. So it's like, okay, you have your manager, call my manager, and then give me a deposit, and then we can work. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's the way it is. And with Red One, it was like, Donnie would say, like, he'd call him at 3 a.m. and be ready to work. And that's that. We wanted to work with people that wanted to work with us. So we weren't going to try to convince anybody to work with us. I mean, that's not what this process should be about, and it wasn't with us. So we had that, and then that Red One was the connection with Lady Gaga, and before
Before she took off.
Yeah. So it's always cool to have someone before we weren't riding her coattails, so to speak, and now it's just exciting that she's got a hit record and Grammy nominated. And it was fun when we were in Mexico when the nominations came out, and she got nominated, and I got to congratulate her, and give her a nice kiss on the hand, and that whole thing. It's just fun. It's good to see young artists just come up and seeing their dreams come true. And she was on the road with us, through the whole tour, so she was great. And then she wrote Full Service, which was a New Edition. New Edition was, our heroes, and coming from the same city, and so to have them on the CD was just a very natural kind of dream come true thing, and wasn't a big setup. It just happened. I mean, it was very kind of magical how it happened, and to be in the studio with Ralph and Ricky and Johnny, and just to be a part of that was very, very sweet, very sweet. And just to talk to Ralph and be able to thank him, and that whole thing. And Ricky's such a great guy. They were all great guys, and to laugh about stupid stuff, just stories about being in the same kind of bands, and wardrobe problems and shows and being on the road was just funny. It was really cool.
Retro Rewind with Dave Harris. Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind. One on one. Retro Rewind.